Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1. And man, been thinking quite a bit about a lot of stuff and praying some more as well. Praying a lot and asking the Lord for more information and thinking a lot. Last night, I had been looking at a lot of different things. I was looking at some seismic readings and looking at this mimic map here, and seeing these anomalies, these new anomalies I hadn't seen before. And Dabu7 was talking about how he had seen some similar ones here about 3 years ago. They came from an island in the middle of the ocean, in the Atlantic. And then he was talking about that today. But last night I was looking at this because I have the same access to the mimic that he does. And so you see these things. I mean, look at this. Look at this new. I've not talked about this yet. I haven't even seen this yet. But look. Watch these. It looks like it. See, look at those. I'll zoom out a little bit here so you can see it too. Watch this. Look at that. It just gets pulled. And it looks like Hawaii is really getting double hit right here. And there's something going on with this area here where they're just zapping it for some reason. I think it might be something to go subsurface or something. That's my gut. And to kind of hit it with, hit the island and hit Kilauea or something for what they're preparing. I have some readings I want to show you here in a minute, but I have some evidence that right after this happened, that they started some seismic activity started happening more on the east side of the island, with Kilauea, Mauna Loa, and the east side. I'm going to show you that here in a little bit. But I'm going to go over a few things with this video, I think. Things I've been thinking about last night as well. I heard from one of my subscribers, and I have to look at her name again, Sunlight something, I think. I'll have to look at it again. But she said that there was, I don't watch regular TV for the most part. I think she said it was on NBC or something. News, there was a shark attack off Cape Cod. And immediately I was like, wow, I was pretty much expecting something like that. I thought it might be in Hawaii, but I'm going to talk a little bit about that and some shark stuff. So, related to Obama the Antichrist, and how there's more evidence stacking up that he is the shark. In fact, in the iPad Goat scenes and things, shows his tassel of his graduation cap hitting and bouncing around the shark, and he knows that he is the shark, and other people don't know. So, I mean, think about it. I mean, the Antichrist has been talked about. If you've heard in different circles about different things, Antichrist has been talked about as a shark or in a shark tank, and he's the king, in a sense, of the shark tank. So anyway, there's a lot of stuff with that. So I'm going to pause here for a second. I'm going to show you some of the seismic stuff I've been seeing. So let's go to that. Okay, so here's a listing of some different seismic activity that's going on that's streamed kind of regularly here. And I was looking at this. I had taken different screenshots of this at different times, and I wish I had taken more. But I was thinking that there might be some kind of effort to start up eruptions again because of the things I've been talking about. And this happened to be before the mimic map showed these anomalies. Now those fan-shaped anomalies, especially, look like two are overlapping over Hawaii. When those started, what I did was I recorded the mimic, the mimic playing like it was. I recorded it, and then I put it into a player, and I slowed it down, and then I was able to see the UTC hours. So basically, it started at, I think it was 6 o'clock at night on the 13th, and then it went all the way. It went 12 hours till 6 o'clock in the morning on the 14th. So they were zapping the island, kind of overlapping, and some of the kind of the equator, just north of the equator in the Pacific, across the whole area where the Big Island is on the 20 degree north, latitude line, zapping this thing all over. And then if you go, and I'll show you this a little bit later, if you go all the way over to the left or to the west, in the West Pacific, where that huge, I think it's a Category 5, I forget the name of it, but it's hitting China, and that thing is gigantic. It went over the Philippines just like crazy, and it's hitting China right now. So that was affected too, and you can see how that was affected. So it's this mass effect, and I can't say I know exactly what's going on, but I have some evidence here. So this was shot before that. This was a few hours before I saw the Mimic map was showing this started and hitting Hawaii, and then like I said, it was going for 12 hours. About 12 hours, as far as I can tell, somewhere in there, 11, 12, maybe 13 hours, something like that. Okay, now let me show you there's one, basically an hour and a half, and like I said, I wish it took more shots of this, because I didn't know the Mimic was going to show this. About an hour and a half after it started, what it looked like from here to there. So hold on. Okay, now what you saw before was this section here as well. Okay, now look at this. As it's predominantly blue, that means very little activity is going on. And as you get into green and yellow, and then even there's a spot of red here, a Mauna Loa, which I hadn't seen for a while, it was showing up. Just say, this is an hour and a half. Let me show you. Hour and a half. Well, actually, a little bit more than that. So this is about, yeah, so about an hour and a half after this stuff started. Okay. And I said it was going for about 11, 12, maybe 13 hours, somewhere in there. It's hard to really tell. The Mimic map blows by hours like several hours a second sometimes. It just depends. So I don't know how many frames that is and all that, but you can see by the UTC countdown or count up, basically the time, the universal time stamp, that basically how long it was taking. So here's the difference. You see that from the other one, how more blue it was, and then look at this. It just got hit, and then it will kind of die down. It looks like, and then I have other pictures of a steady increase in activity. So let me show you that for a second. Okay, so this was basically early this morning, and they were having a steady, again, more than just solid blue. It was having this blue and green more in it, and then it was having these steady seismic bursts here. East Hawaii, Kilauea, Mauna Loa, Hawaii. It's crazy. It almost reminds me somehow of like a defibrillator, like, hitting somebody, and then you get this big jolt, like I just showed you a little bit earlier. Like there's nothing going on, a big jolt. It's all filled up here with these colors of green and yellow and a tiny bit of red, and then it just starts to go beep, beep, beep. It's crazy. I don't know. That's my best way to describe it. And then it's been steadily doing that. Of course, it's dying down at times and going back up, I'm sure, all that. But it was just weird. Right after it got hit was this massive change, and there was a lot more color on these consistent color. And then now these, it's just crazy. Now let me show you what it looked like when we're having consistent eruptions, even at 6.9. Now look at this. Oh, not this. Let me go back here. See, look at this. There was consistent eruptions going on, and this was back in May, June. I think this was the biggest right here. That was the biggest. I think this was the 6.9. Look at all this yellow and red and dark red right here. I think this was the 6.9 right here. So look at that. But it's a huge difference between mostly blue and a little bit of something to filling the whole area with, yellow and green and a tiny bit of red. So it's just, I want to show you that my observance of that. I wish I would have, now that I know a little bit more about how this can work and how I can observe it, then I can get more accurate understanding of it. But that's what it looked like to me. Like after that, it just started showing more activity and blips, more eruptions or more seismic activity, whatever you would call that. I don't know if they're microquakes or they're actually small earthquakes. I think there's some small earthquakes because they come up as green on this particular 3D earthquake app that I have. So, so I think that they're either kind of keeping it going or they're getting it ready for the next thing they'll have done. So the next thing they'll do, which will be this big explosion, I think. Now, I've been talking about the timing on this, and I want to talk about that in a second. So let me pause for a second. Okay, so in my last video, not the very last video, but the video that I had was like an hour and 39 minutes. Basically, I had this slide as the cover thumbnail, and trying to get an idea of when this is going to be. Now, I'm completely sold on the idea that what I showed as far as when New York, and I think it's going to be New York and Florida and maybe a few other cities probably a total of 4 places nuked on 9/23. I'm pretty sold on that. Now, so I might be off somehow, but there's so much about 9/23. I had a dream about 9/23. America's laid low over 3 years ago. 3 years and like almost 3 months now. And for a long time I didn't know what that was, and I was open to what that was, and I have been up and down on all that. Now I'm pretty sure I know what that is, and I've also looked at a lot more stuff on the light side of the coin, which I'm going to be showing and sharing soon. All this process takes a long time to put. If you don't know that, if any of you don't know that, it takes a while to put everything together, to process, to think about it, to put it into either a PowerPoint or some kind of idea of a process. Right now I'm kind of going off the cuff a little bit more, but I'm pausing it quite a bit to get to the different places on my phone. So, and I like using my phone. Android, I cannot stand Windows. I hate Windows so much. And my phone is a phone and a tablet, so it helps me to be able to write on it and do all kinds of stuff. So I like that. And so I was talking about how this, for sure was for me Hawaii. This is Olivia, and I showed in a slide where it shows he's on a boat or something on a ship, and I think that's the man from the north, because he's coming from the north, and on the end of the boat is a spear, and that's Lane, which Gaelic means spear, and then in front of that was the dove, and then the branch with the olive leaf, and Olivia means of the olive tree. So I think these last 3 hurricanes were that. Now I assume probably that the 3rd hurricane would be the one to start it. So, but I guess not. So what it is there's some delay, and this is a message, and I shared the message in actually all 4 hurricanes that touched Hector, Lane, Norman, and Olivia. But the last 3 were the ones who actually impacted the island. Okay, so what I'm talking about here is in this scene here, as far as timing, I was saying that maybe at first I said in a previous video that this may be a full moon, and then this is a planet eclipsing it. Okay, I think I'm of the opinion that Planet X is going to be showing up soon, and it's being covered up right now different ways. I'm not going to get all that right now, of course, because that's a big, huge barrel of worms, can of worms that I don't want to get into right now. So, but I'm going to say a lot of people are going to be surprised when this thing shows up. So that could have been that. So that's what I originally said. But then I thought when we were talking about waxing moons, that the very last chance, I think, of it being a waxing moon and this happening during a waxing moon during this time frame is tonight, the 16th, Sunday the 16th, which would be, and I'm pretty sold on the idea that New York, where the slide with New York, let me go to that for a second here. Oh wait, before I do that, so right here, this thing here, so either this is a crescent moon and this is a waxing moon going into a quarter moon, or it's none of those, and it is a full moon, and it turns red because of the ash that's flying around here, and Kilauea or fissurate or something right in there going off and causing this with the tsunami where he's raising his hands. Okay, and so what that would mean then is that the time of or this could be right before the full moon, so it could be cutting off that little bit where it's not quite a full moon. It looks like it's almost a full moon, but this is it's eclipsing it. This planet is eclipsing it. Then it would be actually a planet actually eclipsing this moon, which would be just incredible. And this is a representation of that, or this is a distorted waxing moon. So in my mind, if it doesn't happen tonight, then it is a full moon, and then the Hawaii impact and the tsunami is going to be the same day as the New York tsunami and nuclear attack. But the Hawaii will be first, like on that slide. Now let me go to the other slide here and show you what I mean. Okay, like when I showed this slide here, like I said before, this is, if you kind of squint your eyes a little bit at this right here, it looks like HI, and that's Hawaii, and that looks like an island. Some people say it looks kind of like a tank. It looks like, maybe the tsunami happened and it's breaking off. I don't know. I think it's just supposed to look like, I'm not saying I know for 100% or anything like that, but I think it is Hawaii with the HI for sure, and it's an island in the middle of water basically, and that's all I care about. And so this thing right here is a tsunami hitting this first. And so either this is saying, I think to me it's saying 2 things, a possibility. One is that it's a timeline of a few days, of a certain amount of days, or maybe even a week, where this is hitting first. Again, they're not on the same coast or anything like that. This is just kind of a timeline hodgepodging them together in a sense. So this tsunami, this representing tsunami, is hitting Hawaii first, and then we have days away where, and by the way, when it hits here, I believe in New York, it's showing in New York at the same time it hits, it's going to be 2 o'clock. And I believe it's 2 a.m. because it's at night here, showing at night, and it got a spotlight. So they have to be at night. So 2 p.m. is out. So it has to be 2 a.m. And then it just happens to be 8 p.m. on Hawaii. And there's a lot of 8s going on with Hawaii. I mean, I've talked about that. I mean, area code is 808. You know, all these different 8s going on with Hawaii. It's pretty crazy. Hector, that first hit it was 8. Hurricane Hector is 8-8. Fisher 8. I mean, Hector hit on 8-8-18. I mean, just all this stuff with 8s with Hawaii. It's pretty ridiculous. I mean, I got the message. Not everybody did, but I definitely got the message of 8s with Hawaii. So, so that would either be, that would happen first, and then days later, it would hit New York. And then we know the timing. I know the timing of New York. And by the way, when it shows the clock tower on my other video, it's 12 midnight. And then, but when you hear the chime, it goes, or the bell or whatever you call that, the tower sound, it chimes twice, and so that would be 2 a.m. So that's referring to Hawaii is first, and then the clock is showing 12 midnight for New York. So either this is first here, and it's going to happen here by this evening, or this is what I'm leaning towards right now, is that this is the same exact day, and it's 6:23 or 9:23, like I showed you. This is a 9, 2, 3, and the same thing as on Lily's dress. 9's backwards, then 2, and then 3, and this is all about 923, and this is the 2 a.m. It starts in Hawaii at 8 p.m. and then it goes across and eventually hits New York at midnight, and that's why they're kind of overlapped. The clock tower, it says midnight, but then it rings twice, and so we're talking about a span of a few hours in between. One will start, and the next one will hit. So, you know, it's not the same tsunami, so people don't think that. It's just a tsunami on the west coast that destroys Hawaii and hits the west coast, and then a few hours later, they're timed, so then there's subs on the east coast, and they came in because of the Florence and the distraction of Florence and everything, maybe even on the radar or something, I don't know, because when it was big or something, and then they strike the east coast hours late on the same day, which is 9:23, and then we've got all this happening on 9:23. Okay, I want to also show you this too, because I found this today. So, to me, this looks, there's like some 9/11s around here. There might even be a 9/11 here, but right here, looks like an upside down 9, and then you have 2 things. So this is a white rabbit as well, and you follow the white rabbit to a new kind of a strange place, which is where they're going, which people are going to strange places, which is the end of America and a new world order. So 9 is upside down, and then 1, 1. I think that's a 9/11 right there, or even 9, and then this is a J, or in the Hebrew calendar or Hebrew alphabet, if it's called what is it called now? It has a 10 value as well, but it looks like a little J as well. So that could be a 9, and then that's a J, that's a 10, and then you got 1 right here. So that's kind of a weird way to do it, but 9, 10, and 1 is 9/11. And that's on the outskirts of 923, which is right here. And I also think there's a 9/11 right here, because you zoom in on it, you've got 9. If you zoom in on even more, you can see a little bit more. Maybe I can, a little bit more. Okay, there we go. 9 right here, and then on the bottom of the 9, it splits right here, and then these are 2 different colors. There's a color that's mostly of the 9, and then there's 2 different colors, so it's 9 and then 1, 1 maybe. Okay, so, and then I think I see 9/11 again. This looks like 9 right here, and then 1, 1 maybe. Anyway, I just think that there's 9/11 is the ritual before the events somehow. If you see other things, please let me know. I'd like to know and see that. But so these are my 2 theories right now. One is, again, I'm gonna say this 1,000 times. I don't know the future. I'm just doing my best to figure out what's going to happen, because, you know, millions of people are going to die. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry, if people don't see that or whatever, I don't care. I don't care. So, but I'm doing this for the people who know what's going on, or who are open to the truth and listening to what's going on and can see the evidence. So, this is what I'm speculating. So either this event with Hawaii starts tonight, 16th of September at 2 a.m. New York time and 8 p.m. Hawaii time, because the crescent moon is the last possible time, I think, the waxing moon, I think, until it's a quarter moon tomorrow. Or if that doesn't happen, then it's going to all come down to 923. And there's a lot of reason for 923. Oh my goodness. Let me show you again about the moons real quick. Okay, so we have the moons here. So this is September. And like I was saying, we have the waxing moons here. And this may be technically called a waxing moon still. I'm not really sure. I can't remember what it was, but it's still kind of got a crescent shape to it. And that's tonight. Okay. And then this is a quarter moon right here, I believe. Maybe it's a half moon. Anyway, I'm thinking this is probably the last time. So I'm leaning more towards everything happened on 923 now, but it's still possible for tonight because they've been doing this stuff to this island as well. But they may just be prepping it for it basically everything going off on 923 with all the subs in the water and everything and ready to hit at the same time. And I still believe, like the slide I showed, which I'll go back to. Let me go to that in a second here too. Okay, so I'm saying I still believe that these are, I think we're talking about striking at the heart of a particular country. And so I think what this is saying here is that there's going to be an attack. And some of it's based on what Julian T has said. But I'm I don't know exactly, I can't remember the details of what he's saying, but this is what I'm saying. If it matches in some ways, I know some of it will. But I'm thinking there's going to be 3 attacks at the heart of these countries, as in London, England, or the UK, Tokyo, Japan, and then New York, United States, of course. Okay, so, and then kind of before that, because I think these are going to happen at the same time. I don't know, it's a gut feeling and some other evidence I've seen. I think these are going to happen at the same time, 3 different attacks at the same time on 923. And then if you look at this bottom line is thicker than these other ones. And so you can kind of look at this together as possibly sideways H. Okay? And so I believe Hawaii would be before that on the same day, but this kind of separates. I think it might show that this is, that's a thicker line. This kind of goes with this a little bit more than these here, possibly. And so that's just my deduction on it. So it may be wrong, but I'm showing Hawaii first, whether it's tonight or it's earlier on the 23rd. Okay, so that's where I'm going with that. So I think they're going to have basically World War III kicking into high gear at that time, if not sooner. Okay, so I'm on a different moon chart, and I decided to go there, but, I mean, it doesn't have to be technically a waxing moon. This is the first quarter. I want to make sure I had this right. This is the first quarter, the 15th, and then today is the first quarter, a little bit more visible, but still technically first quarter. It's not a waxing moon anymore, but that's still somewhat of a crescent, so I think it could be an exaggerated version that we see on iPad Goat, or, like I said, it's some kind of eclipse that is not expected from a planet. Okay, so that's what I'm leaning towards right now. And then if you go here, basically, this is another thing that proves to me that the 23rd is it. Because the 24th right here, okay, is a full moon. The 24th is a full moon, and that's when the Antichrist, representing a boy spinning out of a mosque with this white garment, is spinning, and that's when he's born, basically. Okay, and that would be right after the craziness of the 23rd, even midnight, right here, going into the 24th. And I had that crazy thing on this barrel, which could not even believe. Man, I could not believe what I saw. I'm going to go to that real quick. So I shared this story. Basically it was a little video that was kind of choppy and messed up and sideways on my last video. But, I mean, look at this thing. I mean, literally, this came into where I work. And I end up looking down at it because I was like, oh, this is an olive barrel, which just reminded me of Olivia, which is crazy, of the olive tree. I mean, this is an olive barrel. I didn't turn it around and show you where it says olives from Greece. But this is how they ship them, I guess, to other countries or something. But I could not believe what I saw. This was marked on here 9/23/1201. And so I'm just asking the Lord, what 12? I mean, why not 12? But I really got 1201. I mean, at 1201, you're going to be feeling whatever it is, whether you're here and you're going through the tribulation of it from a nuclear attack or a tsunami or whatever it is, or wherever you're at, whether you're in New York, London, Florida, whatever, wherever it's going to be hitting, or you're going to be going up to heaven if you're part of the bride of Christ. That's what I believe. I believe it very, very strongly. And I'm going to put out a video soon, maybe today or not, if not tomorrow, about more of the light side of the coin and a process starting from the Revelation 12 sign to 9/23, God's plan to basically show us that He's coming to take us on 9/23. So it should be very encouraging. I want to share that. So the next thing I want to get into, so this is my case for, there's a lot more to this case, but I just don't have the time to put all this stuff together. I just want to show you some of the stuff I've been talking about on the dark side of the coin, and I'll have some more light side of the coin here soon. I'm working on it right now. There's a lot of time goes into all this stuff. It's crazy. And time flies when you're doing it. It just flies. Hours go by like minutes, it seems like sometimes. And so I'm doing this for everybody, and I'm taking away time from my family and stuff, and I don't like to do that, but I'm trying to help people and save people and wake people up and all kinds of stuff, and whatever this can get out to people, the better, and whoever it can get to, I'm just praying for that. And I thank you for all your prayers and all your support and all, getting this out to everybody that you can. So next thing I'm going to get into is going to be about the shark. Okay, I'm going to show you a few things. Now, like I said, I believe Obama is the shark. He's the Antichrist, which is also represented. And I could get into a bunch of things. Jonathan Kleck gets into this too. Some other people do, where the Antichrist is a shark, and that's in media. There's a Kobe Bryant ad about the shoes, and they look like a shark. You can look that up. Kobe Bryant shoes, shark, and that's an ad about the Antichrist being a shark. And there's been, different things in media and in, stores and stuff about a shark head. And this is all getting ready, rolling out predictive program for the Antichrist. I mean, he is the top of the food chain when he comes out, and then the bride of Christ is gone. So and everybody who's here, I won't be here. Everybody who's left here will be in the Shark Tank, and he'll be the shark. So that is a lot of representation on that. He comes from the sea and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm going to show you some stuff about Obama being the shark, and all these references to sharks and him. It's crazy. It's crazy. So let me go to that next. Okay, so I remember, like I said, last night, one of my subscribers on that short video from Logic Before Authority, the last video that I put out about this lady living near Lalani, or at Lalani Estates, not too far from Fisher 8, and her stuff she's building a new little house, tiny little house, and everything was new, and it was all rusting and everything horribly because of the bombardment of these microwaves or whatever they're using exactly on Fisher 8 and her property and her house. It was incredible. You got to watch it if you haven't. But anyway, on that regard, on that exact video in comments was this particular person, and I think it's Sunlight or something like that. Anyway, you know who you are, and it's right there in comments. I apologize. But anyway, you mentioned that there's a shark attack in Cape Cod, and somebody died and everything. So I looked into it, and every news thing about it had some details. Like, for example, it was Wellfleet Police, something like that. Wellfleet Police were involved. I did gematria code on that, and it's the same number as Barack Hussein Obama. The Barack spelled without a C or something, but it's crazy. And then there was then the beach where the guy got killed and attacked. That beach, Newcomb something. I don't want to pull everything up, but that was the same number. And there was other things. It was crazy. So here, and I started looking at some other things, and here stuff. I look back on shark attacks just shark stuff. So there's several things about Shark Tank and Obama associated with the Shark Tank show on TV. And here's one right here. Shark Tank features Damon's work with President Obama as presidential ambassador. And then look at this link. Look at this hashtag. Hashtag the People's Shark. I mean, that's associated with Obama, the People's Shark. You know, so it reminds me of the People's Republic of China or something. The People's Shark. So Obama's the People's Shark. Don't people see this? They get this? And it's so crazy. There's so many things associated with the shark. And anyway, in Obama and stuff. Another thing too. You know, there's this guy died 80 years ago from a shark attack near the same place. It was the last shark attack that happened where someone died near Cape Cod, I think it was. And this guy, his name was Joseph Troy Jr. And get this. His gematria in English is 1074. You can look up any of these. 1074, which is also equal to September 23rd, spelled out, Son of Perdition, and Song of Solomon. And what I think about in that is September 23rd, I believe, is right now the day, as far as I can see, in my speculation, okay? And that's spelled out. September 23rd is that number. Same as this guy who is, again, they put these things out in the media for predictive programming, so people will entertain this idea and somehow subconsciously help bring it to pass. And also just put it out there as many different ways you can, that Obama is the Antichrist, he's the answer. I mean, all these different kinds of stuff. And the guy that was killed by the shark in 1938, the beach that he was on, Mattapoisett, or whatever, how you ever say that, was gematria 954. And guess what? That's Barack Hussein Obama also. It's crazy. You can't make this stuff up. You know, it's crazy. So you can do your own gematria stuff on this. The reason why I'm doing the gematria stuff is because that's what they do. They are into numbers, and it's their religion, and they have all these crazy messages and numbers and predictive programming and everything. So let me go to this next one here. I mean, God, there's just so much things I could cover right now. I don't know the date on this one, but I'll go to the next thing here. This one's got a date. Look at this. Shark fin soup stirs up trouble for Obama. Again, another reference to shark and a fin, shark fin. And look at the name here. Helene Cooper. Isn't that the hurricane that's heading towards the UK right now? Just so happens to be heading there. Helene. Remember I said that the Helena slump in Hawaii that's going to be basically ripped out of the goat's throat and all that is basically a form of Helen or Helene, which is right there. I mean, and I did a thing on Helene Cooper, gematria. Helene is spelled out 8, and which is, again, Hawaii is associated with 8. Helene Cooper is 726 in English gematria, and that's Antichrist is equal to that, and blood sacrifice. I mean, it's just crazy. If you get this at all, like literally they make up this stuff so they can put their hidden messages, their overt, covert messages, and sometimes right in your face messages. You know, they just do every kind you can imagine. So look at this. This is crazy. So it says, now Mr. Obama didn't buy or eat the soup because it's, you know, it's against the law to eat that. He stuck to dumplings, and more dumplings. And the president is not known as hugely adventurous eater, but that didn't stop the San Francisco Chronicle from putting a photo of the president at the restaurant on its front page, accompanied by a caption that noted pointedly that he signed the Shark Conservation Act, yet still went to the restaurant that serves the banned soup. There's another situation. He signed the Shark Conservation Act while he was president. Again, another thing it's associating him with sharks. It just goes and goes with this guy. I mean, look it up. It is crazy. So many things with the Shark Tank. It goes crazy. The show Shark Tank. And then so many other shark things. Here we go. The week Obama jumped the shark. They've used this phrase so many times, jump the shark. I know what it means. Okay, it's a phrase, it's an idiom or whatever it is. It's crazy. It's right here. It says the week Obama jumped the shark. And there's some weird things about a week as well. So like Shark Week, there's a thing about him talking about Shark Week and what happened during Shark Week, which is a week on Discovery Channel where they show a lot of shark shows and stuff about sharks. And Obama's associated with that. And I'm not going to show every single thing, but you can look it up. I don't know what the political effect of all this will be, but intellectually, this is the week where Barack Obama jumped the shark in a deep, fundamental way. He is no longer a serious man nor an honest one. His public words are now purposefully bleached of truth. Anyway, so there's just all this shark stuff appearing that's appeared for years. Here's another one. Barack Obama jumps the shark. I mean, really? Why do you have to say that? And then this talks about how Fonzie in Happy Days jumped a shark on water skis, and it's clearly that the writers were out of fresh ideas, and everyone knew the game is up, and Happy Days was pretty much over. Same thing when Barack Obama brought Bill Clinton to finish his press conference for him, and then he walked off the mountain, leaving the room altogether. Anyway, whatever these stories are, they're crazy. And then look at this guy, Brian Fisher. You looked up his name. And again, I think they pick some of these reporters and they give them these stories that they make up, and we know about that. I mean, we've literally had presidents like Bush and like Clinton and whatever, and literally this on the same exact day. I've seen footage. You should look it up sometime. I've seen it on the same exact day. There's like 12 different news agencies, and they all say the same set of phrases and same words. For example, one time was Bush. And it were all saying he lacks a certain gravitas. And then everybody all day, you probably look that up and you can find it. And it was probably like 15 news outlets or more. I heard about 15, 12, 13, 14, 15, something like that. And they all said he lacks a certain gravitas. I mean, on the same exact day, almost the same exact phrase. So, we know that they are fed these things to say for different reasons, to steer the public into certain ideas and certain understandings and concepts, and basically continually write the narrative of what they want people to believe and know. I mean, if you don't know this, you need to wake up. Okay, so this particular guy, Brian Fisher, let's see if I have that here. I have it here somewhere. Brian is the same number as Kilauea, and Fisher, I think actually Brian Fisher is the same as Barack Obama. What? You can't make this up. It's something like that. It's just, what? Like, that is insane. Oh, by the way, I looked up Fisher, just as in Fisher 8, and it's the same English gematria as tsunami and hurricane. It's crazy. And I've even looked up stuff like Heliofont. Remember I was talking about 923, right? And how this is a big day, I think, for destruction and possibly even rapture. Heliofont, which is the company that made iPad Goat 2, their name in gematria in Hebrew gematria and Jewish gematria, is 239, which is basically 23rd of September. Or 239 is the isotope for plutonium, which is nuclear main component to nuclear bombs, plutonium. So, I mean, you can't make this up. I mean, what? I guess they're making them up. Demons who are really intelligent and more intelligent than us can hide these things all over the place and weave them into the society fabric any way they want to make people kind of go the way they want and program people. So that's crazy. There's just so many things. I was looking up a lot of different things. And let me share one more thing about that. iPad Goat 2, if you look up iPad Goat 2 in gematria, you know what it is? It's the same number as tsunamis. Tsunamis. Are you kidding? So that's what it's actually talking about. It's showing 2 tsunamis happening, one in New York and one in Hawaii/West Coast. Okay, let's go to some more. So these things are all full, and you can probably find more stuff in all these articles and different articles about all the stuff they're trying to show and predictive program and everything, people. Here's another one. Next shark. Korean American man reduced to tears after hearing what Obama told him on his last day of work. Okay, yeah, this is a crazy one. And the guy's name, this Korean American man, his name is Gary Lee. And Gary has the same equivalent in gematria number, which is, I think, is like 488. And that's equivalent to the Great Dragon, Mark of the Beast, And this is crazy. Gary Lee is the same exact number as Hawaii. And guess what? In this article, oh, I didn't put it on here. Shoot, I didn't put it on here. But in this exact article, you can look this up. You can even type in these words here: Korean American man reduced to tears. This article was posted at 8:08 p.m. or a.m. or something like 8:08 a.m. What's 8:08? It's Hawaii's area code. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? His name is the same number as Hawaii in gematria. In fact, it's exactly, what is it? I think it's English gematria. No, I think it's, yeah, anyway, you can look it up, but it's crazy. I mean, this is nuts. Here's another one. Shark stewards promote sound stewardship of sharks and all marine life. Large-scale marine protection introduced by Obama under Iniquities Act. What will Trump do? It just goes and goes. Here we go. Large-scale marine protection. So, and then it's by David McGuire, Shark Stewards in Ocean View. And there's a date. And I've been trying to find stuff on dates as well, but I couldn't quite figure out, if there's anything in these dates as well. But, this guy here, David McGuire, his name comes up as the same as Rothschild, which is the Puna geothermal venture, which is what's going on at Kilauea to get power supposedly and all that. There's so much going on here. I just cannot even believe it sometimes. There's all these different hidden messages and things and everything. So anyway, Obama's associated with shark. If you didn't know it, he is the Antichrist shark. And there's representations of him all over media and everything. Yeah, another one. Has Obama jumped the shark? I mean, it goes and goes. I mean, this jump the shark is overused for Obama. I mean, and why? Well, because it's associated with shark. Are you kidding? Here's another one. It's like Jaws, but Obamacare is the shark. Again, Obamacare is the shark. Obama is the shark. I mean, really? I'm just picking some things. There's far more out there. The show is like Jaws and you're the swimmer in a tsunami probably, or Obama's about to get you and you're swimming in the water, It's just crazy. This stuff just goes and goes. Here, look at this. He's holding a shark. I'm sorry, but this is crazy. I have a little bit of fun here. I've been so serious about all this stuff, and I'm concerned about people legitimately, really. I'm so concerned about people, it's not even funny. And I haven't even been able to sleep very well. I mean, I just got some rest last night for the first time in a week, maybe a little over a week, because I'm dreaming about this stuff, and I'm worried about people. And, I think if you're a Christian and you're not concerned about people, something's wrong. There's just something wrong. And if you want to just get out of here and you don't care about helping people and helping people see stuff and saving them and everything, something's wrong. You got to do a checkup from the neck up, or maybe from your heart, I don't know, or your spirit or something. But I'm serious. I mean, I am conflicted all the time. But in this situation, I'm just laughing at this because this is comical. Look at this. He's holding a shark. When it's Shark Week, I was just telling you that, and then look at this. Here's this 18 times Barack, and this is the same article here, this person that's doing this, Britt Stevens, or however you say it, 18 times Barack Obama was unequivocally you. What? They're trying to humanize him, and all these different stories as well. Not only are they doing all this predictive programming, they're trying to make him look, oh, he's a cool guy. He's just like you. He would do something stupid like you and go and order food from a restaurant that has banned for shark fin soup. Oops. Oh, that's silly. Ha ha ha. He is just the average guy. It's his PR campaign all the time. And he's an evil dude. He's got the most stern look of any president I've ever seen. And he's been known for his stern look by a lot of people, even Democrats, that talk about he is the sternest looking dude. And the most, anyway. So, I'm sorry, but I'm just having fun with this a little bit. And then look, Britt Stevens. Oh, I wrote that somewhere. Where did I write that? I wrote that somewhere. Oh my gosh, you won't believe this. Britt Stevens, or Britt Stevens, however you say the name, is English gematria is 1050, which is exactly equal to Hurricane Florence. Are you kidding me? And then during Hurricane Florence, that's going on right now, there's that shark attack in Cape Cod. Are you kidding me? Her name is exactly equal to Hurricane Florence. The same exact 1050 in English gematria. That's a coincidence. I think not. So anyway, I think I've got my point across here. I think that's not that one I want to show. Okay, I think I'm getting my point across here. So he is the shark. These things that are happening. Oh, I want to show one more thing too. Let me do that. I'm going to pause this for a second. Good. So one last thing here that I want to talk about. Okay, so in iPet Go, like I've shown so many times, my daughter caught this. She she's kind of looking at some stuff more like me, and she just wants to find more stuff. And there's certain areas that she can look at and watch, and other areas I won't let her watch because they're just ridiculous. But she's like, "Oh, Dad," and she paused it. She goes, "That's a shark fin," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, you are completely right," because he's spinning around. Remember, he's spinning around like a hurricane, and then his hands are doing like a wave, but they're like, they're horizontal basically, and they're going up and down like a wave, and then his head spinning around, his body spinning around like a hurricane, and then he comes out of it, and then he's looking at this again. See, he's looking right at that again, which is, again, we talked about Massachusetts, okay, the 13th, whatever, and then right here, look at this, and then his hand goes straight up like that, like a shark fin. Let me look at it. It looks like a shark fin. Look at that. Look at that. And he's looking at that again. And that was Massachusetts. That was Cape Cod. That event happened there. And so now we're going to this next event, which will be the sharks off of the coast. Whether the first one starts tonight or not, but I got to show you that. That is crazy. That is just absolutely crazy. Thank you, my daughter, for figuring that out. You did a great job. Your daddy's very proud of you. Okay, so I want to show you one more thing, and then I'll cut this here. Okay, here's the mimic map again. Now look at this. Now remember, over here on the right, this arrow's pointing here, was Hawaii, and how we saw these anomalies, and even some overlapping Hawaii, it looked like to me. And then look here. This is where this big anomaly is coming across here. Watch right here. Whack. And it grabs. You can see it kind of grab and just maybe strengthen this thing as it's going into China. What was it called? Mangkot or something? I can't remember what it's called. It's some Chinese name I can't pronounce. But it goes right in. Boom. Watch this again. Here we go. Look at this. And it's wrapping around right here. Wrapping around right there. Boom. And then it turns white inside. I mean, this is crazy. Look at these. They're manipulating these things. I mean, it's another type of anomaly that's showing up here than what I've shown so far. And these are normally those pressure waves, and then we got this other anomaly hitting this from the side, just like some is hitting Hawaii, like I showed in the beginning of it. So from here on, I'm just gonna cut this now here, and I just showed you some different things I was thinking about, and I've been thinking about for a couple days. And so I hope you see this stuff. This stuff's amping up. It's about to really hit, and I don't know the exact timing, like I was saying. So, but at this point, this is Exalted Lamb 1, over and out.